Tokyo Music Lab music trivia you can use starting tomorrow.
Kate, do you know Aerosmith?
Of course, I know.
Do you know the name of the vocalist? Do you know why it's so acclaimed musically?
Oh!
Did you know that they love Japanese taiyaki and eat it before concerts?
What? Regular distribution every Monday and Thursday, and chat session Tokyo Backstage every Saturday. Search for Tokyo Music Lab in your podcast app.
Don't miss it.
Japan anime news powered by Newtype. It feels somewhat like it's becoming the norm, doesn't it? Is this the 6th time we've recorded quite a bit? In this program, we mentioned that we weren't receiving emails, and then we got contacted by people from Italy, the United States, and Japanese residents in the US, which made me go, oh, and raised my spirits. Last time I introduced it a lot, didn't I? This time, one of those people responded. Thank you very much. Last time we talked about Kapene-san, who likes baby metal and was listening to Shinbu-san's program. There was a story about how his daughter wore a costume of Satoru Gojo from Jujutsu Kaisen for Halloween. Then we received a continuation of that story. Yoshida-san, thank you for introducing me to the email last time. I had never made such a post before, so I never expected it to be sent from America and read by someone. I had anticipated receiving something from America, but I was genuinely happy and grateful when it actually happened. However, it seems that Capellina-san joined in on this feeling. When I reached out to people from other countries, or rather, when I did it here, I haven't received any further contacts since then. It seems that the theory of postcard artisans only existing in Japan is becoming more solid. Wow, it's getting more intense. I think it would be interesting to have a postcard corner or something similar worldwide. I can't really share common experiences at all. I wonder if we can share anything when it comes to anime. There really are discussions about how anime is received in different countries. Oh, I went to Abu Dhabi and came back. I forgot to mention that. I might touch on it briefly later. There was a discussion about overseas platforms, but Look Back is indeed written in Romaji. In Japan, the logo is also in katakana. So the katakana feel is very strong. Look Back has that anime image. Look Back is indeed available on Amazon Prime. This must be a mistake. It says there will be a worldwide streaming release starting from November 7th, so it seems to be the same in America. Also, it appears that the series can be watched on Max and Adult Swim platforms. I mentioned this, but in Japan, it was said that Netflix would have it starting in December. Last time I mentioned that I watch anime on Crunchyroll, but it's also available on Netflix and Amazon Prime. And in America, you can subscribe to Disney Plus and Hulu together, so I have access to those as well. Recently, it has become possible to bundle 3 services together, including Max, which is convenient since you only need to make one payment, but you still have to switch between the different apps for the content itself. Ah, I see. Well, I'm not sure about that. Since I live in an urban area in the United States, I think there are quite a few people who are knowledgeable about Japanese anime, but I don't think my daughter and her friends are that into it. So when I see them choosing characters from Japanese anime for their Halloween costumes, I think to myself that times have changed. Thank you very much, Kapen-san. To answer a few questions, first of all, the apps I'm subscribed to are quite a lot. There's the Anime Store, right? The Anime Store, Netflix, Fuji TV On Demand. Then there's Unext. I feel like I'm still subscribed to more. I'm on Amazon Prime, NHK Plus. I think there might be 1 or 2 more. TVer isn't even paid, you know. There's a service called TVer in Japan, so at least when I quickly think about it, there are 6 subscriptions. There's no fooling around. It's all full dramas, you know, in Japan. Yeah, that's how it feels. In any case, I can't keep up anymore. I have Disney Plus, 7 subscriptions. Huh? There are 7. Honestly, it feels like it was cheaper when I was buying packages now that we've come this far. Netflix is now about 2,000 yen a month, so I don't want to think about it. I have so many subscriptions that I don't even want to think about it. But there are certain things that you can't watch unless you have them, so that's how it is. Sometimes you accidentally stumble upon something unrelated that turns out to be interesting. Do you know? Disney Plus has a documentary about North Korea. Most people don't know that. For some reason, there's something like the Discovery Channel. You end up watching it. There are things like that, and recently I went to Abu Dhabi. I mentioned it briefly last week, and I wondered if I talked about Code Geass or not. I did, right? The issue of the royal family watching Code Geass is important. But there was also something like that. And it reminded me of the story about America that Kapen sent me. I belong to a digital voice actor idol group called 7 Minutes and 22 Seconds. And one of the members, Sally Amaki, was raised in a family where her parents are Japanese but met and married in Los Angeles. She didn't like school at all, and even though she worked hard at figure skating, managing to do triple jumps for some reason, she decided to come to Japan after being encouraged by Masashi Kumada and is now working as a voice actor idol. This person is quite extraordinary. Her stories are always interesting, and this week I observed some information. Finally, I feel that her presence is as shocking as when Shoko Nakagawa appeared in this world. As a talent, she does gravure and such, but it became a buzz that she seems to really love anime. Mr. Amaki can speak both Japanese and English perfectly, which is to be expected. When doing character dubbing, she can properly dub both languages in her own voice. Tomo-chan does the voices of foreign girls, and she was the one who did those voices. I have always thought of her as the worldwide Shoko Nakagawa. Shoko Nakagawa has been saying for a long time that she understands everything, even when people wondered who could understand both the sea and the mountains. This week, Shoko Nakagawa and Sally Amaki finally met. I contacted both of them. I personally believe that the next generation will see Sally Amaki becoming known worldwide. This is something I thought of this week. After a long time, Sally Amaki returned to Japan after about 5 or 6 years, or maybe even longer, and when she went back to Los Angeles, she was surprised to see Jujutsu Kaisen written in the shopping mall she used to visit. She seemed to be amazed by how things have changed. However, regarding Jujutsu Kaisen, everyone knew about it even in Abu Dhabi. That's the story. This program is a podcast that delivers anime information to the world through the multilingual voice translation tool Lingueene. Based on the latest anime information gathered by the Newtype editorial department of KADOKAWA, I, Hisanori Yoshida, will share insights about Japan's anime situation and culture with the world. This episode is recorded on November 4th, 2024. So the information is current as of that date. Additionally, since we are using the multilingual voice translation tool Lingueene, translations into languages other than Japanese may contain inaccuracies due to AI translation. Thank you for your understanding. When posting your thoughts about the program on social media, please use the hashtag #JAnime. That said, we haven't received any emails from the Arabic-speaking community. It's a bit disappointing, but I'm always waiting for them. The email address is janime@1242.com. This week's news is quite significant. The English version of Gundam Seed Freedom has become a massive hit in Japan, surpassing 5 billion yen in box office revenue, making it the highest-grossing Gundam film of all time. It's even outperformed Char's Counterattack. However, when you think about it, back then, anime didn't have as much influence as it does now. Anyway, due to this success, it was announced this week that a prequel or origin story for Gundam Seed Freedom will be made into a movie. Interestingly, the announcement to adapt Gundam Seed Freedom into a film was made about 25 years ago. Actually, it was 20 years ago. I exaggerated a bit with the 25 years. It was 20 years ago, that's right. Around the time Destiny ended, there was a huge event called the Gundam Seed Festival at Yoyogi National Gymnasium, which can hold about 10,000 people. I went to see it, and everyone was there, like Takanori Nishikawa and Rie Tanaka, who were working every week. They were singing, and everyone was really excited. At the end of the event, the monitor displayed movie version production decided. It didn't say when. It took 20 years. However, 20 years later, it was properly adapted into an anime and became a big hit, so they are definitely going to make the next one. That's nice. It might be in 20 years. As of now, there hasn't been a specific date mentioned, so there is a possibility that it could be released when I'm about to turn 70. There is. The fact that Seed Freedom Zero is being made is significant, right? As of now, there hasn't been a specific date mentioned, so there is a possibility that it could be released when I'm about to turn 70. There is. The fact that Seed Freedom Zero is being made is significant, right? There's something like this happening. Obocchama-kun. This is probably something that would be most unacceptable in English-speaking countries, right? I wonder if it would be okay if there was zoning or something. I read it in Koro Koro comic in Japan when I was in elementary school. It started when I was in the 5th or 6th grade, a gag manga called Obocchama-kun. It's a really crude gag manga, that's for sure. A very intense character named Obocchama-kun appears, who is basically wealthy. When he makes friends, he pulls someone else's hand and puts it on his groin, saying "Tomodachinko," friends thing. There's something like this happening. Obocchama-kun. This is probably something that would be most unacceptable in English-speaking countries, right? I wonder if it would be okay if there was zoning or something. I read it in Koro Koro comic in Japan when I was in elementary school. It started when I was in the 5th or 6th grade, a gag manga called Obocchama-kun. It's a really crude gag manga, that's for sure. A very intense character named Obocchama-kun appears, who is basically wealthy. When he makes friends, he pulls someone else's hand and puts it on his groin, saying "Tomodachinko." I wonder how they plan to translate "this ring is nice." All the elementary school kids got super excited, and it became a huge hit. Naturally, it was adapted into an anime. It was so popular among children that it was chosen as the #1 work that the PTA didn't want to show, but adults frowned upon it. It seems to be explosively popular in India. I somewhat understand why. There's the character of the rich boy, Obocchama-kun, and then there's the character of the poor boy, Binbocchama-kun, which really emphasizes the gap between wealth and poverty. However, it seems that a new anime series co-produced by Japan and India featuring the rich boy has already been completed. Apparently, it will be broadcast across India next spring. Just think about the population. It's not comparable to Japan. It's set to air in 2025, and I believe it's a series of 22 episodes, each 26 minutes long. Since the show that aired on Indian kids' channels was a hit, they decided to go this route. As for what happened, it seems that the world premiere of the new series took place at the International Program Market in Cannes, France, on October 21st. Was it the world premiere of the new series featuring Obocchama-kun? I wonder how this will turn out. For now, I have an image of standing up and saying, "Bravo." What do you think? It was in 1989, right? So that means it's been about 30 or 35 years? There was a seed planted. It takes time to create a new series. They didn't say they would make a new series for Obocchama-kun either. Anyway, this is set to air across India next spring. So I want to go. I want to see it in India. How do the kids in India watch it? Even now, there are still a lot of outdoor movie screenings in India, right? That's because movies are a form of entertainment. I'm really looking forward to it. The script is by Shin-A Animation, which produces Doraemon and such. It feels like they might have accidentally swapped the scripts of Obocchama-kun and Karakai Juzu no Takagi-san, since they are both from Shin-A Animation. It might be the Karakai Juzu no Obocchama-kun, though. In Japan, there seems to be quite a bit of minor news. There's an animation called Jashin-chan Dropkick, which has a rather unusual operation. It seems that people who are always online are staging it. They talk about making money from this stage adaptation, directly discussing money matters. Also, it seems that the voice actor unit Sandrion is disbanding. We had some performances together at places like Yokohama Arena, and also at the Musashino Forest Sports Plaza, which is an arena-class venue. Then there's Bleach. There's a new series currently airing, the 1,000-Year Blood War arc. In this arc, Aizen Sosuke uses the spell Kurohitsugi, Black Coffin, as part of his Bankai. In a scene where he chants the spell, Bleach's website features it stylishly displayed, similar to a Vocaloid song's music video, with the lyrics appearing one after another. There's a button for the chant that, when pressed, directly posts it to X, formerly Twitter, which caused it to trend significantly, with the spells being shared widely. So, I wonder if there are similar ways to enjoy this outside of Japan. There is a traditional Japanese art called bells, and unbelievably, Castle in the Sky is broadcast on Friday Roadshow in Japan. Yes, since it's aired nationwide, everyone posts the spell balls, which sings Laputa, online, for some reason, even before X existed, right? They probably did it in chat or something. When it was directly introduced to X, there was a time when Twitter crashed due to the sheer number of balls being posted, which really made it a spell of destruction. This is a habit we have as Japanese people. How about overseas? There isn't a Friday Roadshow, right? There's no Friday Roadshow. Is there anything like watching something nationwide at the same time? I've heard there are something like cheering screenings. Cheering screenings are most famously associated with King of Prism. Even though it doesn't change anything since it's a movie, everyone watches it while shouting, "Yeah!" It's amazing. It's worth seeing at least once because it's so entertaining. Long ago in Japan, during the third Gundam movie, I read somewhere, either in Fan Road or Puff, that during the screening, everyone in the venue shouted, "Because he's a boy," at that moment in the scene. I've heard about that and read it somewhere. There's one thing that makes me wonder if it's really true as an article. Similar to that, there's a movie called Showgirls, made by Paul Verhoeven, who directed Basic Instinct in 1995. It's considered one of the worst movies in the world. I've heard that people gather to watch it while laughing hysterically, and it was set in Las Vegas, where they did that. I wonder if that's really the case. But when I think about audience participation screenings, in American comedies, there's a lot of laughter included, right? It's just American comedies and Japanese radio programs that have laughter from people who aren't part of the cast. Also, there's the drifter's big laugh. In Japan, that is. Should we appeal to those who like sitcoms? What about radio? So please tell me your favorite sitcom. I really like Full House and Dharma and Greg. In Japan, it's mostly just Friends, and that's it. Nowadays, there are endless channels to watch various things, but I wonder how it really is. So, this has been Yoshida Hisanori's Japan Anime News powered by Newtype. That's all for today. When posting your thoughts about the program on social media, please use the hashtag JAnime. If you have any feedback about the show or anime news you'd like me, Yoshida, to discuss, though I wonder if that's the right way to ask. What is it really? If you have something that doesn't have another recipient, I will receive it here, so please feel free to send me an email. The email address is janime@mark1242.com. Well then, let's bring you the latest anime news again next week. This has been Nippon Broadcasting announcer Yoshida Hisanori.
Tokyo Music Lab music trivia you can use starting tomorrow.
Okay, do you know Aerosmith?
Of course I know.
Do you know the name of the vocalist? Do you know why it's so acclaimed musically?
Oh!
Did you know that they love Japanese taiyaki and eat it before concerts?
What? Regular distribution every Monday and Thursday, and chat session Tokyo Backstage every Saturday. Search for Tokyo Music Lab in your podcast app.
Don't miss it.